Morning and happy Monday. It's Monday, March 26, 2018. This is the Daily Mix TV by Hill Story Marketing. My name is Sean Patrick Hillman. I'm the CEO. I hope you guys had a great weekend. Yesterday marked the start of Holy Week for over 2 billion Christians across the globe with Palm Sunday. As Holy Week is the highest of holy seasons, look for a very soft week of activity in the markets, as well as a lot of those who are taking time off to be with their families. Passover starts on Friday at sundown. A lot of folks are off on Friday for Good Friday, and Easter takes place this Sunday. So it's going to be a quiet week, to say the least. Now, speaking of Easter, have you guys seen the amount of promo and candy available for sale at retail? I mean, my God, I'm gaining weight just thinking about this. I was in a CVS the other day. I couldn't believe how much variety of candy was available on promo, let alone the amount of toys, decor, and whatnot that was for sale. Easter traditionally has been a very profitable time of year for candy makers. But in the wake of calls for healthier snacks and foods, many, like Mars, Hershey, and Nestle, have been worried. And steadily, year over year, sales have actually gone down. So it looks like this year, their prayers have been answered, given the early receipts we're seeing in terms of sales. Now, we'll keep an eye on this one for you right after the holiday. That's typically when the reports come out about how holiday promo did for Easter in candy and in decor. So we'll follow up on that one with you next week. Now, it was really cold in New York yesterday as I took the stage in Union Square Park to MC the Petco Foundation's All for Love adoption rally, where they unveiled the largest photo mosaic in the world of adopted pets and their owners. At the event, hundreds of dogs and cats found loving and responsible homes, while their new owners were treated to tips and tricks from Petco trainers, groomers, and other brands in the community helped get these new relationships off to the right paw. It was a great day for the animal rescue and advocacy communities. And while there's no denying that a retail apocalypse has taken the lives of brands like Toys R Us, not all stores are struggling, according to a new report from CNBC. However, the question that we really have to ask is, why are so many big box stores closing while smaller regional and mid-sized chains are exploding? As an example, discount chain Dollar General plans to open 900 stores this year, focusing more on rural markets. Aldi's is adding another 180 new stores, with Ulta Beauty and Ross both planning to open 100 doors this year. You know, even eyeglass retailer Warby Parker, they're planning to expand by 40 stores. Now, you may recall, we did a story on Warby Parker back in October where they talked about teasing, I think it was 10 stores at the time. Now that's expanded to 40. Talk about an incredibly successful operation because they know how to deal with their customers. They know how to pivot, they know how to plan, and they know how to execute. Target is opening 35 new, smaller format stores in 2018. They're much more profitable per square foot than their big warehouse type operations. So why is all of this happening? Well, the answer is simple. Small and mid-sized stores can pivot much easier than big box boys can. So as an example, we talked about Warby Parker. Primarily an e-commerce operation that ended up growing into retail. So very much the reverse in terms of how things used to operate with respect to these businesses. Warby Parker is one of those very rare businesses that found its niche, found its voice, and married it with its customer and turned it into a real lifestyle approach. Brilliant branding, brilliant messaging. I wish more would understand the need to pivot this way. Target, though, let's talk about an example of a big boxer that's actually looking at more customized programming in a smaller footprint. You're looking at a much smaller physical footprint with these new smaller size stores. And people tend to gravitate more towards that format than the big endless warehouses and huge mass market retailers because of times of uncertainty. So what does that mean? When you've got a soft economic period or you've got uncertainty in the markets or in a geopolitical situation, people tend to clamor for comfort. Comfort is not going to come from a cold warehouse of endless aisles of product. It's going to come in a warmer environment that people are seeking out, and a smaller footprint achieves that. So the idea that the Amazon effect is destroying all of these brands, I'm sorry, it's a load of bullshit. That's not true. Retailers have just been lazy. They failed to adapt. They failed to pivot. And the reality is Target, as one of the examples of a company that actually knows what it's doing, has pivoted and is now looking at smaller platforms in order to adhere to what its target's needs are. So I wish more retailers would follow suit. Looks like the unfriending has begun. Look for Facebook stock to continue to fall this week alongside its sentiment rating. From Elon Musk to Tim Cook, executives, celebrities, and consumers alike have been slamming the social platform in the wake of the Cambridge Analytica scandal. Now, as many of you know, Elon Musk deleted both SpaceX and Tesla's Facebook pages last week. Now, Apple CEO Tim Cook, speaking at a developer forum in China over the weekend, said he supports, quote, well-crafted regulation preventing the misuse of user information in light of revelations that Facebook allowed Cambridge Analytica to gather information on 50 million of its users. Cook also called the situation dire and said companies should not be able to know user browsing patterns, relational connections, likes and dislikes, and intimate details of a user's life. You know, the interesting part about Apple making this statement, Apple has gone out of its way over the last decade to ensure that people understand they don't have access to your data. They don't know what websites you visit. They don't know what stores you use Apple Pay at, those kinds of things. I actually happen to know that's true. I have a lot of friends in Cupertino, and I'm one of those crazy people who questions everything. But I have friends in Cupertino who have all told me it's incredible how much data they collect, but none of it is personal. So they don't know, who your brother is or your mother or your dad. They don't know who your girlfriend is. They know you have these connections, but there are no names attached to or anything like that. It's purely pattern data, not using anything that can link back to your identity. Now, on top of that, Facebook attempted a mea culpa with a traditional newspaper ad blitz over the weekend, whose headline read, quote, we have a responsibility to protect your information. If we can't, we don't deserve it. Sorry, but you know what? Zuckerberg has spent the last decade kicking many on the way up the ladder. Now, he's being kicked twice as hard on the way down, especially now that Congress has called for Zuckerberg to testify before them, and Senator Warren, a top Democrat on the Senate Intelligence Committee, has said that Facebook has not exactly been forthcoming with Congress about what happened. Look for further unfriending activity to happen this week. On top of it being Holy Week, the markets will be softer than normal as the trade war the media has been pushing as a narrative for the last 2 weeks may not even happen. Looks like the U.S. and China are resuming talks to avoid a trade war, given all of the back and forth between the White House and Beijing. So let's keep an eye on that one, guys. Thank God for cooler heads prevailing. At least, let's all hope that's what happens this week. My name is Sean Patrick Hillman. I'm the CEO of Hill Story Marketing. I'm also the editor-in-chief of the Daily Mix TV. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you tomorrow.